What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet, and this is this week's gaming news that was interesting to me. As per usual, this week's episode, we do have a sponsor, and this week's sponsor is Glasses USA. The glasses I'm currently wearing, as well as all of the glasses you see in my videos of the last year or so, have been purchased or sent to me through the guys over at Glasses USA. And the reason I choose to work with these guys is because they have a very high quality product for a very inexpensive price. You know, a set of frames and lenses just like these could cost you as little as 50 bucks. But not only that, if you click on the link in the description box below, not only you would be helping support me, but you can actually get a 55% discount right now and free shipping just by using that link. So if you want to help me out, start shopping for glasses right now, and you can get them for a very inexpensive price, and they're the kind of quality that I use literally every single day. So Splatoon 2 is out today, which begs the question, are you a kid now? Are you a squid now? Are you a kid now? Are you a squid now? So Splatoon 2 is out today, which begs the question, is it any good? And if you look right here on the screen, you'll see that the current Metacritic score with over 50 critics is an 84, which is a couple points higher than the first game. I haven't got a chance to play it since I didn't get a preview copy because Nintendo hates me. But I do know from watching other people play it and reading reviews, I do have a pretty good idea if this game's any good. First off, I should say that I'm probably a little biased because I loved the first Splatoon. The single-player stuff was not very good. The multiplayer was absolutely incredible. I always had a little bit of trouble using Nintendo servers to stay online. I understand now why they want to charge for that so they can have some better servers. And hopefully the servers are better here. If you've played any of the test fires on your Switch, then you're going to know that this game is absolutely bonkers. It is super fun to play. It is completely different from any other online multiplayer shooter. There's so many different strategies now, and it looks like the sequel has delivered with a lot of new stuff on top of the original game. The game ships with a handful of new weapons, as well as the majority of the old weapons returning. You got 8 different arenas to fight in for multiplayer mode. I think there were only 6 at launch for the original game. Then you've got the old multiplayer modes coming back, as well as single player coming back. 8 hours of single player here, and then different multiplayer modes, including an unranked mode and a horde mode where everybody works together to fight waves of incoming enemies. That's the first thing I'm going to try, obviously. So it looks like this game does what a sequel is supposed to do, which is build off of the original, take the original and make it better, remove the bad stuff, add some good stuff, add some new stuff, and I think that's exactly what they've done here for Splatoon 2. Now, my copy doesn't get here until later today, but when it does get here, I look forward to playing it. And hopefully, I'll let you know on Twitter if all these reviewers are right or whether or not I hate it for some reason. Here's a hint. I'm 98% sure I won't. So let's talk a little bit about an unusual case between the developer, between the runaway hit, Playerunknown's Battleground, and a Twitch streamer by the name of Dr. Disrespect. So Playerunknown's Battlegrounds, herefore out, known as Battlegrounds, because Playerunknown's is such an annoying thing to say. Battlegrounds is the runaway hit for PC in the last year. It sold over $100 million worth of copies of the game, and the game is actually really fun. It's a game that I will play on stream fairly routinely. I know some friends who have dedicated themselves to this game and this game exclusively. And if you've ever played it, the idea behind it is fairly simple. You and 99 other people get dropped into a giant little island nation, and then you try to find weapons and arm yourself and try to kill each other. Fairly similar to H1Z1, or fairly similar to what DayZ was trying to do way back in the day. And I think it's important to know that one of the reasons this game is so viral is because it is so frequently streamed on YouTube and Twitch. Even Video Game Donkey this last week made a video about this game. So YouTubers love to play this game. Streamers love to play this game because people love to watch the antics that you get up to there. And one of the antics that you'll get to up fairly frequently is team killing, and that's important for this story. But now, Dr. Disrespect is a whole story altogether. He is a Twitch streamer who's obviously playing a character known as Dr. Disrespect. And that character is fairly funny and fairly edgy and fairly silly. But he's also one of the most watched people on Twitch, with up to 20,000 people watching his average stream on a daily basis. So fairly good job over there. And one of the games he's been streaming frequently is Playerunknown's Battlegrounds. So developers have decided to add team killing against the rules that can get you banned in the game. And they're not talking about accidental stuff, but they're talking about intentionally team killing somebody who loads a game, gets into a game, and then you murder them because you don't like your teammate or because you think it's funny or something along that lines. Now, Dr. Disrespect later that night did stream, and while he was streaming, he ended up team killing somebody for comedic effect, and as a result, the developer of the game, who presumably was watching the stream, then banned him to show people that he was very serious about the team killing rule. Now, that's controversial enough there, honestly, to ban this high-name streamer. But then again, why should streamers be treated any different? If you want to ban people from team killing, then obviously you're going to ban a streamer who's doing it in front of 20,000 people to show people that you mean it. I personally think it's a huge mistake to ban team killing from this game because it's actually pretty funny, and even when I do get team killed, I think it's funny, and I just load another game. It takes 60 seconds to get into another game, so I don't really see the problem, but hey, not my game, so not my rules. So the developer of the game did decide to take to Twitter and say it doesn't matter who you are, if you team kill, you will get banned from Battlegrounds, and that caused Dr. Disrespect to start tweeting in response, and one of the things he tweeted in response was saying that he would like to roundhouse kick him in the chest. And you'd think, again, especially considering that he's playing a character, this is something that anyone would be able to shrug off. Unfortunately, the developer of the game took that as very, very serious, and this caused a huge controversy on the internet. And obviously, there's people that say that this game should allow team killing, which I agree with. But then there are people who are saying that this guy is being overly sensitive and overly kind of crappy. And there are people who are saying, you developed a violent video game, so you have to expect people to be violent against you, which I think is an absurdly stupid logic loop. But more correctly so, a lot of people were making the argument that Dr. Disrespect is making these tweets in character. He doesn't mean it. He's not actually threatening violence. It's clearly meant as a joke, and that the developer of the game should not take it so serious. But he did. And I think there's a reason for that, and he actually did talk about that reason in an upcoming post. The developer said that in college he was actually kicked in the chest by a roommate who he got into an altercation with. Rather than talk it out, the guy kicked him in the chest, put his head through a plate glass window, presumably putting him into the hospital. And because of that, he immediately reacted as if that was something that was a very real possibility and that he would not enjoy. And he did go on to say that he understood it was jokes, he understood it was lulz, but tried to explain away his very serious reaction because that kind of violence has actually happened to him before in the past. And I find myself kind of torn on this one because I do find that kind of stuff funny. I like the jokes. I like the lulz. But I do think there's a certain amount of responsibility of what we put out on the internet, and I do think there's a certain amount of trying to consider that kind of thing. And as a victim of a lot of abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, I do know sometimes that I can be made very uncomfortable with what I read on the internet. Though for the most part, I don't respond to it, and 98% of the time, I just lean into the memes. I don't really care. It's not that big of a deal. Even if something makes me feel uncomfortable, I will just kind of shrug it off and just try to deal with it. But I understand that not everybody's able to do that. And that's why I'm so very careful with the things that I say as Francis, or the things that I say as me. I'm very careful about the types of videos I produce because I don't want to have this kind of negative impact. My question is to you, is this an over-serious topic? Are people taking it way out of proportion? Is this something the developers should get, quote, end quote, butthurt about? Is this a very realistic thing? Is this how people should conduct themselves on the internet? Should he play along with the jokes? Should he lean to the memes? Or should he use this as an opportunity to try to tell people that, hey, you know what? Not everybody can handle that kind of stuff, and maybe you want to pick and choose what you say to people on the internet. I don't know, but I'd love to hear what you think. And then briefly, let's talk a little bit about the Destiny 2 beta, because I did get an opportunity to play it a little bit this week on stream, and I got to play a little bit of it on my own time as well, and I want to give you my first impressions. This is definitely a Destiny game. I mean, it feels pretty much the same. Killing, endless number of mobs. A lot of the bosses tend to be bullet sponges without a lot of special abilities or anything to differentiate them or make them very unique. The graphics look about the same. The guns and the weapon variety seem to be about the same, as well as armor and stuff along that lines. So overall, this definitely does play like just more Destiny. And I also can't speak very much about the multiplayer PvP because I don't really play with that. I didn't play it in Destiny 1, and I doubt I'll play very much of it in Destiny 2. What I did like, though, in Destiny 1 was the strikes and the story missions and things along that lines. And there are two of those available, one strike and one story mission based in the basic game there. And the story mission is the intro to it. You get dropped into the middle of a city under siege, and it looks beautiful, and it plays beautiful, and I really actually did feel like I was part of the narrative. The strike, on the other hand, just felt like another strike from the first game. Nothing too crazy there, nothing too exciting there. I wasn't too particularly worried about it. And this, again, leaves me concerned because what I want out of this game is a nice 10, 15, 20-hour story that I can really sink my teeth into, get to know some characters, love those characters, care about those characters. There's hints of that in the beta. And enough of a hint to where I think I will probably order the game if it turns out to be pretty good based on the reviews. Otherwise, I don't really know how I feel. It definitely just seems like more Destiny. It seems like a very polished Destiny with a lot of work added to it. It probably feels a lot closer to the game I was expecting when I first pulled the trigger on the first game. I'm hoping that that's the case. So the question is, did you take the time to download the Destiny beta? To get access the first couple days, you had to pre-order it, which is bullshit. But it did open up for free, I think, yesterday. So if you did get a chance to download it and you did get a chance to play it, let me know. There's still the PC beta in August to look forward to as well. So let me know if you guys decide to play that there. I'll probably play it there as well, just so that I can see how it plays with mouse and keyboard. That said, guys, that's about all the news that was interesting to me this week. Let me know what you thought about about these stories or anything else in the comment section below. Don't forget that link to my sponsors, Glasses USA, in the description box below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I'll speak with you again soon.